Nancy.
Brian.
That was not necessary, but thank you.
You're welcome.
What are we talking about?
We are talking about Duquesne's production of Album by David Rimmer. Runs this weekend and next weekend, ends on the 25th.
Mm-hmm.
It's only $10. You want to plug them. It's well worth $10. Go see this show. It is coming of age. It's 8 scenes. There's only 4 characters in the show, and it's about the 4 years of these 2 different couples through high school. And the soundtrack alone, sadly, some people were singing pre-show and during intermission, which was a little weird and creepy. But because it's a great soundtrack, it's 60s music, so there's doo-wop, there's Beach Boys, there's Dylan, and it's this great story, and the cast are amazing. Trevor Root, who plays Boo, it's his first production. Boo's his nickname in the show. It's not like Boo Radley. And he is wonderful, and he has this great sort of naive innocence on stage. Nate Yost is his cohort and partner in crime for getting the ladies. He is Billy, and then the 2 women are Erin Womer, who is Trish, and Abby Blackburn, who is Peggy. And it's just the story of kids, and it starts, unlike Meat, Adult Language, and Live Sheep, it starts with a game of strip poker. How can you go wrong with that?
You know, many stories that I've been involved in start that very same way.
I know, right? Well, it starts with that, and it's the story of these 2 couples, but it goes back and forth between them liking each other and then just being in high school, and what do you do, and they hate their parents, but then, I mean, who doesn't hate their parents in high school? In high school to some degree. And it's just this really nice mix of all different teenage angst and drama, and should they make out, should they not make out, what do they do in high school, and then it ends with graduation and what are they going to do kind of things. And it's just a lovely piece, directed and designed by John Lane. And the set is really simple. Not a lot of scene changes because the set is basically a bedroom. And it changes to the girls' bedrooms at times and the boys' bedrooms at times. And the set pieces are very simple. The curtain closes, and then at the end the curtain sort of close. So you wonder what sort of open, sort of closed. Like, did they come of age at that moment or not?
Is that the big question?
Yeah, well, it could be the big question. For me, I just thought they had funny dialogue, they had great songs, their characters connected with certain songs, especially as it got later in the 60s with Dylan versus the Beach Boys when it was a little more light. And of course there's an album that the one girl, Trish, has that was her family's album, which she sort of writes over and puts pictures of like the Beach Boys and then subsequently Dylan.
You can pick your family.
You can pick your family, folks. It's possible. You can pick your family. And so it's lovely and sweet, and the music is really great. Pre-show, intermission, short. It's a relatively short show, so you don't have to sit there for 3 hours. And well worth seeing. Nate Yost and Trevor are wonderful. You feel they're completely different kind of characters. One's more like a ladies' man and one's really kind of shy. And then the 2 girls, it's kind of the same thing. One's a little more outgoing and one's a little more held back, but they have great moments between all 4 of them. It's just a lovely piece that is worth seeing. When I was in high school, girls said no. There's this whole thing Trish says about this dream about Brian Wilson, and then eventually it's more Dylan, and I've never had a dream about Dylan, let me be honest, never. It's never gonna happen.
The night is young.
I liked Neil Diamond. I wasn't really a rowdy person. Billy Joel in the 80s.
What's not rowdy about Neil Diamond? I mean, he was kind of...
He wore a scarf.
Well, in the winter, that's perfectly acceptable.
That's true.
What the heck was the name of this play? Did you even say it?
Album.
Did you say that?
Album, David Rimmer. I did say it in the beginning.
Oh, okay. I was probably...
You weren't even listening.
I have to admit,
Have a drink.
I was a little spaced out.
What is it about? What was it about? But what was it about? So what was it about?
Are you asking me? I can't tell you. I've not heard a word you've said for the last 10 minutes. And now for some cheap laughs.